Hello everyone, and welcome to this webinar on career options in commerce. So I welcome all the parents and all the students who are entering standard 11 now. I also have a few participants today who are already in 12th standard, but they also requested that they want to listen to this session on choosing a career in commerce. I would quickly introduce myself and then would go ahead. I'm CA Kshitija Soman. I'm a chartered accountant by profession and have done my PhD in forensic accounting. Forensic accounting is an area where fraud detection is possible, financial fraud detection. So I did my PhD in that, and I have been in teaching field for more than 14 years now, and over 6 years of experience in as a consultant in financial management area. So welcome one and all to this session. I would like to give only one important notice in the beginning, that kindly keep your audio and video both off at this point, so that whatever number of participants we get, there won't be any problem with the network connectivity, and bandwidth will not be an issue. Thank you. So, standard 10 exams were cancelled, probably in first time in the history of education in India. And suddenly everyone is up for a big decision in the careers, that is choosing a right path henceforth. Up to 10th, the task is always very easy, because as you join in first standard, then in a sequence you go and reach standard 10. But after that, the real choice has to be taken, because this is the point in your career, in your professional life, or this is the beginning of your professional life, I would say, where an exact choice would make sure that your career, your future is secured and is satisfied and happy. When I say satisfied and happy, yes, it is important, because I see many people around the age of 45, 50 saying today that they are not happy with the kind of career option they chose. They are not happy with the kind of education they took, and they would have been probably better off if they had done some other option in their career, or they had picked up some other education in their career, in their life. I believe 45, 50 is not the right time to repent. So if we take an informed decision right away at this stage, then we won't have to repent in future, and our decisions would only give us more and more satisfaction and happiness in future. And for this, I thought of arranging this webinar of career options. So this is going to be the agenda for today. We would first get into understand why commerce as a stream, then how to choose your career, what would be the career choices after 12th, and then at the end, depending on time availability, I would take question answers. So when I want to talk to you about why commerce, first it is essential to understand what is commerce. Unfortunately, in India, the education system, the syllabus has been designed in such a way that, excepting a rare occasion where some students learn accounting in school, for all others, commerce is totally a new field, a new area. And that's why choosing commerce as a career option is obviously a very, very difficult task. I do realize that. I'm sure all the students till 10th study economics as a subject, but the kind of economics that they study in school and the kind of economics that we expect in commerce field as such after 11th, there is a big change, big difference in that. I mean, not conceptually, but approach-wise. So today my focus is going to be on giving you the right thought process of choosing a correct specialization, correct field, correct profession within commerce as a bigger area. Commerce in itself is a huge area, and we would see how we can pinpoint or how we can go ahead with choosing the career, the particular choice that we would like to be in for next 20, 30 years. Commerce, if you see the dictionary meaning, it is only, it is just business of buying and selling things. But you all know that commerce is much more than that. Commerce is the way business happens in India, commerce or in any country. It is the way in which economy is run. It is the guiding force behind all the economic transactions that happen around the globe. They say that growth of any nation is not possible without growth in commerce as a field. After 90s, after globalization, India was up for a big change in business. As far as economy was concerned, there was a sea change. Doors were open to multinational companies, their products, their methodologies of producing goods, their way of giving services. Everything was different than what was happening in India at that time. Obviously, Indians adapted very quickly. And today we see that we have a lot of multinational companies which are functional in India. Not just that, there are many companies, multinational ones, whose parent company is in India, and then they have many other branches abroad. So definitely speaking, commerce has changed a lot. The face of commerce, the complexion of business has changed a lot over last 20 odd years. Technological advancements have played their role in the way business is run, in the way a country is run, in the way economy progresses. And that is why commerce today is at the heart of any country or economy. Now, the next question I would like to address is, why are we thinking about career goals and choices today at this stage after 10th? Isn't it a little early? Is a very obvious question that students can ask. Because someone who doesn't know anything in commerce, and then we are discussing about what he will do 5 years down the line, what will he do? Is it not too early? Can we mute? Can everyone on mute? Thank you. Oh, Papa. Yeah, let's continue. So I was saying that why are we discussing about career goals and choices today, immediately after 10th, when a student doesn't know anything much about commerce as a field, commerce as a discipline? As they say, Rome was not built in a day. Success is a process and not an event, is what I totally believe in. I would like here to share some part of my story, the way I have come from 11th standard till date. I'm sure that will give some insight into why are we doing this session today. So after 10th, the natural inclination of everyone in those days at least was picking up science. But I was sure that I can't draw. And that was the only reason I chose commerce. I'm absolutely not repenting today. I'm absolutely happy with the way my career has been progressing over last 15, 20 years. But the point here is that the decision that I took that time was not based on any information, was not based on any concrete data to support. I did not have anyone who was in commerce field who was pursuing a good career in commerce. And as such, my knowledge about the stream was quite limited. And I'm sure that could be the case today also amongst a few participants, that the parents are from commerce background, science background, or maybe some of them are from arts background. And that's why they don't have much knowledge, much idea about commerce as a discipline. And that's why discussing all this today is absolutely essential. I chose career after 12th in commerce. I took up CA just because my friends were taking it up. I did not really think much about what other options could be available. Just like in science, engineering, and medicine are the two obvious options. In commerce, CA is the first obvious option, and that's why I chose it. I could complete it thankfully, because I'm saying thankfully because I had not chosen it according to my liking, according to my ability. I chose it because my friends were doing it. After that, I completed CA, and again, I had no clue as to what should I do. I was sure that I don't want to get into taxation and auditing, but there was no other clue as to how do I progress in my career. I had no plans of stepping into a particular career. Again, there was someone who told me that you could teach. And then I just thought that why not give it a try? I started teaching to MBA students, and over last 15 years, I have been successfully doing that. Again, something that I'm absolutely happy about, but I did not choose it. Probably teaching chose me, is what I can say. But when I look back today at all these events, after I got into teaching, I then pursued my PhD also, because then I had found my passion. I knew that teaching is really the area where I want to focus and I want to be all my life. And then there was no looking back. I started researching, I started pursuing my PhD. I completed it in about 4 years. Then I wrote many research papers and so on and so forth. I gave many speeches across many forums. But I found my passion at that late stage in my career. And today, when I see all this, I really feel that students who are entering into 11 should not be lost in their thought process in such a way. They should know exactly why they are choosing a particular career option, why they are choosing a particular stream. I always say that biggest enemies of success are three: being unaware about something, lack of enough knowledge, enough depth in a particular area, and unclear career goals. Unclear career goals is the biggest problem, is the biggest worry, uh, according to me. I faced all of these in my career, and thus I decided that now that I'm in teaching, I should focus on building, helping people build their careers by calling it an informed decision. They should think about what they are doing and then get into it. They say that career goals should be smart, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Yeah, they should be specific, as in you should finally be able to pinpoint on one particular career option, one or two, by the end of 12th standard. The goals that you set for your career should be measurable, they should not be unrealistic, and thus they should be attainable. They should be such that they match your ability, they match realistically your skill set. They are relevant to the requirement in the industry today. There is no point in studying something that is not required in the industry today, because that is finally not going to fetch you success and money. And lastly, your career goal should be such that they are taken timely. You have to take a decision timely. In my CA days, I had seen that many students used to fail in the exam because the nature of the exam is such. But then there has to be a line drawn between uh, a failure and a foolish decision. So I have seen people who gave their attempts 10 times, 12 times, 15 times, and still they could not clear. I feel if if you take a timely decision, if you understand realistically that, yes, I cannot do this, CA is not my cup of tea, and stop there and shift to something else, probably life is much easier and better. Your future can be secured better if you take a timely decision. So based on all these parameters, now let's go ahead and decide how to choose a career. So as I said, there is no particular need to pinpoint on a particular career choice at this point. There is no need to identify a particular career option. So saying that, okay, I want to do CA, or I want to do MBA, or I want to pursue MCM, or I want to pursue, say, MPM, that is personnel management, masters in personnel management. So there is no need to say pinpoint to a particular area of career. Can I request everyone to please stay away from the keyboard, because I can see some lines being drawn on this slide, which is slightly distracting. Thank you. So there's no need to pinpoint on a particular career option, but having said that, it is absolutely essential that you have a broader idea of the following points. I have listed down these points based on my knowledge till date, based on my experience till date, and based on what I have seen in my students. I have worked more with MBA students, and of late, last 2-3 years, I'm working with 11th and 12th standard students also. But my experience with all of them has made me write down this particular list, that at least students should have a broad idea of the following points by the end of 12th standard. First, do you have a business background, and are you going to join the business immediately, or maybe at a later stage? Or are you not going to join your business at all? This is something that is going to definitely decide your course of action further. For example, if someone has a production factory, say they are producing producing some food grade packages, and then a person is sure that he wants to get into the business after his education, then doing MBA with supply chain as a specialization, or doing MBA in operations, is probably going to make more sense. Or even for that matter, CA is going to be really useful, because then the person will be able to handle the finance and account side of the family business. But if you're sure that there is a business, but you're not going to join at all in that business, then your line of action should be such that you should be able to grab a nice job, at least initially, and then you can obviously jump into your own business and be an entrepreneur. Second point that you should be having a broad idea about is, would you like to go for a course in core finance, or are you interested in applying your commerce knowledge and choose a profession which is not core finance? Now, what is core finance, or what is core commerce, I would say, and not so core? So again, there is a list which is coming in the next slides about various options that you have. So basically, just to give you 1 or 2 examples, core finance could be chartered accountant, cost and management accountant, or even lawyers work in the area of corporate finance and corporate laws more so. So are you interested in getting into the corporate field, or the finance side, the HR side, the marketing side? Or are you interested in choosing something like photography, designing, or journalism, or mass communication? There are n number of options that you can choose from after your 12th in commerce. But it is absolutely essential to have at least a rough idea about your liking. Now, the next question would be, how do I understand what is my liking? And yes, I have an answer to that also today. The last point here is, are you prepared to study for 6 to 8 hours and with that intensity? Because this is a major problem I have seen among students. They don't have the ability to focus. Most of the parents attending this webinar today are going to agree with me. I myself am a parent, and obviously I have faced the same problem with my child also at times, that focus and being attentive for a longer period of time is a problem of today's generation. And if you're not prepared to sit down for 3 hours, 2 hours at a stretch and study, then you cannot, in most of the cases, clear or successfully clear professional courses like CA, CS, CWA, the law course also, because all of them, all those courses require extreme amount of hard work and lot of study, long hours of study. So having this basic idea of what should be thought in your mind before you take an informed decision, let's go ahead with the next slide. So now the next obvious question is how to choose your career. How do I understand which profession suits me? So there are, according to me, 5 ways in which you can boil down your career choices to 3 or 4 possible choices. At this stage, boiling them down to 3 or 4 choices is absolutely sufficient. After 12th, you will have to actually pinpoint and just choose one area where you want to focus. And next 3, 4, 5 years would be totally devoted, totally given to that particular passion of yours. So these are the 5 areas which are in front of you. First is research. Now, this is not the research which the researchers do or the scientists do. So how do you boil down to 3 or 4 possible options is what we were discussing. So the first is research. Go on internet, and now there is a entire, what you can say, mine available of information. So dig more and find out what all possible options are available. I am going to give you a few of them today, but there are n number of options that are possible after 12th in commerce. So first thing is you have to do a lot of research. List down the options, write your notes, study various articles. It is a good idea at this point to read a few books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or say how people become successful, or the thoughts of successful people. Or there's some book called Business Raje in Marathi, where you can get to know about the icons in business world, the tycoons, as they say. So all this reading around the field of commerce is going to help you choose your career option. The second is internships, volunteering, and event management. This is again an area which is definitely extremely useful, something that no one told me when I was in 11th standard. What happens is after a hectic year of 10th, people take 11th, especially in commerce, as a gap year. I mean, we used to call it gap year those days. So the year where you're not supposed to study at all, the year where you're not supposed to give any stress to yourself, and you're just supposed to enjoy the college life. Yes, definitely you can enjoy your college life, but still a focused effort of 4 to 5 hours every day, even in 11th standard, even though you call it a gap year, is going to help you develop or shape up your career in the right direction. So what do you mean by internships or volunteering? So if you have your own business at home, family business, join the business and see how the business organizations function. If you don't have your own business, but definitely in your extended family, you would have, or amongst your friends, you would definitely have someone who is into business, who is an entrepreneur. So please join them and see if you can volunteer there. There is no expectation of money as such, but you must get good exposure to various functions of business, whether it is HR or marketing or advertising or accounting or just fundraising. Just understand, grasp as much as you can. These 2 years are going to be very crucial in that sense also. You can actually get into event management into your colleges. Every college has various groups, various like clubs, sports club, trekking club, or music club. Join those, help them in managing events. You will learn a lot from all of them. The third option is, or the third way to reach your possible career option is through discussions and experience sharing. So you will definitely have a lot of people around you who are either doing their own practice in law, or maybe company secretary, or they are working in some bank, or they are in the field of investment banking. So just go and have a detailed discussion with them. Take a proper appointment with those people and have a good discussion of 1 or 2 hours. These kind of discussions will definitely help you gather a few thoughts about how different characters, how different roles are played in a big world called business. The next point is brainstorming with friends and family. This is something even I do today, even till date, because very often it happens that you are not aware of what you are good at, or even more importantly, you're not aware of what you are bad at. So it is essential that you have a friend by your side, you have someone from your family who can tell you, who can pinpoint those problem areas in your personality, and they will definitely help you grow further. We call it SWOT analysis, where you identify your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This is a very effective methodology that we use in project management, that we use in financial management, in many areas in business. But you should do it with yourself at this point in time. Understand what you're good at, understand what you can do. Like from my experience, I just told you that someone told me that you can teach, when I absolutely had no idea about how can I teach. I mean, I just told that person that how can I teach, I really don't know. But he said, no, you get into it and you will understand that you can teach really well. I don't know, but yes, I'm in this field for last 15 years for sure. And the last important point is something that I very recently read about, and that's called as Ikigai. It is a Japanese concept. It is taking rounds on internet nowadays. So I'm sure you also would have read that at some point in your surfing. So Ikigai means ultimate satisfaction. So finally, why are we studying? Why are we working hard in our careers? Why are we earning money? Why are we behind our dreams? The final objective, the ultimate objective is satisfaction. Are we going to be happy with what we do is finally going to determine your level of happiness, your level of satisfaction, your level of comfort in your life. You will see that people who are not happy with their careers are the ones who are not going to be happy in their lives in general, because the kind of irritation that crops in is spread everywhere. So coming to this point, Ikigai is a very important concept, or a very important way of identifying what would be your career option. Ikigai is a mixture of what you are good at, what you love, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. So a mixture. So these are like the subsets that you must have learned in mathematics. So if you combine all of them, you identify your passion, mission, profession, and vocation. And again, an intersection of all those is your Ikigai, is your ultimate satisfaction. So ideally, you should do a thorough analysis of your personality and your objectives, your career goals. I request all the parents also to take this up for them, their careers also, and see if they are really meeting, or they are really able to get their Ikigai. The next in the list is, I'm sure all the parents would like to know that if their son or daughter picks up commerce as a stream, commerce as their profession, what kind of roles are the kids expected to land in? So here is an entire big list of all the roles that are possible: auditors, business analysts, legal advisors, management consultants, economists, advisors to government in policy framing, although there are going to be very limited seats available here. But yes, I always believe that there is always room at the top. You always see that people speak, there's cutthroat competition around, etc. But I still believe that everyone has his own chunk in this world. Nature has arranged for it. So go and grab your chunk of happiness and success. Actuarial valuator. So this is again a very, very different area. After 12th also nowadays actuarial exams are possible. With globalization, mergers, acquisitions, takeovers, or deals as far as lands are concerned are growing, and all those places you will need valuators in general, who will value a particular asset and give the right price of it to the client. company secretary, cost and management accountant. This 8th point, cost and management accountant, CMA, was earlier called as CWA. So some of your friends, especially the parents I'm talking to, some of their friends would have done a CWA. So that CWA is now called as CMA. Bankers, insurance officers, investment bankers specifically, because that's a separate area from general banking. SAP consultants, again, something that many chartered accountants or even MBAs are taking up today. Designers, nowadays after 12th, even I have many students who are thinking of choosing designing as their career. And designing doesn't mean only fashion designing, it has a lot more to it. So in designing courses, we have product designing, we have designing of, nowadays there are many, so thanks to COVID, now we don't have anything, unfortunately, over last 2 years. But before that, we used to have a lot of exhibitions, and planning for a stall in the exhibition is also something that designers can do. Event managers and teachers or researchers. Although I have written it as a last point, I unfortunately want to say here that there is dearth of teachers in commerce, because commerce has so many good opportunities that people like to take up those opportunities and not turn to teaching as a profession. But I really welcome students at this stage that if they really want to pursue teaching as their profession, it is absolutely a rewarding one. You can be also researchers. So these are the various roles, and I really say that a commerce student, when he studies well and when he acquires all the relevant knowledge, becomes a powerhouse of talent and the required knowledge in the field. This is something I truly believe in, and that's why I have put it here. Choosing a career which suits your innate personality and nature will always fetch more success. So if someone is an introvert and picks up marketing as his specialization, it is absolutely not going to help him, isn't it? Or if there's someone who talks a lot and cannot focus, and then he chooses a field called business analyst position, or he picks up a business analyst position as his job, then it may not help him. I'm not saying totally no, but yes, sticking to your innate personality and nature is definitely going to fetch you more success, is something that I truly believe in. And I have seen it in many of my students, and even around us, we can definitely see that some people are so suitable for that particular job that we often say that ye aadmi ye kaam chhod ke kuch nahi kar sakta, because we really truly believe that the person has all the required skills and ability. So that is something which is not there in any book or in any rules, but I truly believe in it. Now let's come to actually the career choices after 12th commerce that one can have. Again, I have sorted those into two areas. When I say core finance, it's not only finance, but I'm calling it core finance because it relates more to accounting, taxation, strategizing, costing, and that's why I'm putting all of that in the left-hand side. Whereas the non-core commerce courses are on the right-hand side. So you would see the first is chartered accountant, company secretary, LLB, cost and management accountant, and master of business administration, that is MBA. On the right-hand side, we have all the non-finance courses wherein we have photography, hotel management, designing, various languages like maybe a Japanese language or a French, or learning French, doing a course in German might help. And last is journalism. All these options, these are just about 10 options here, and there are at least 20-30 more options which are available. So I have chosen those options which are seen quite often as favorites of commerce students. But if you see, if you want to speak specifically about your child's career path and which is not any of these listed here, you can definitely ping me personally, take an appointment, and we can surely discuss about a career path of your child in particular if you wish to do so. The first in the list on the left-hand side is chartered accountant. As I said, that it is most obvious option in commerce field, is what has been seen. Again, I'm not saying this because I'm a chartered accountant. It is what has been seen from the history. So chartered accountancy is a big course, requires a lot of commitment. After 12th, you can immediately give your first exam. Again, last 2 years, the timings, the schedule of exams has changed because of COVID situation. But generally speaking, CA exams are in May and in November. So after 12th, you can immediately appear for your foundation. We used to call it foundation. It is now called as Common Proficiency Test, CPT. And from there, you can take it on. Then you will have your intermediate. In between, somewhere you will finish your graduation. Graduation can be in any stream. You can do a BCom, you can do BBA, BCA, BFT. Any particular course is possible along with your CA, but I would recommend that if you are choosing a professional course, a thoroughly professional one, please stick to just BCom. Doing anything like BBA, BFT is going to need more commitment. And when you are already committed to a very, very heavy duty course, don't divert and get into something else. BCom is something that the syllabus is quite similar to what you already do in your chartered accountancy. And so you do not need a lot of extra I would say time to be devoted to this degree. So you can quite easily finish BCom and even MCom. If you want a student, if you want your child to go abroad and study for some course like CFP, etc., or MS in particular area, then having an education which is 12 plus 4 or 12 plus 5 is essential. So if you are only a graduate, many times we have seen that their applications get rejected from foreign universities. So in that sense also, doing an MCom, doing any post-graduation for that matter is relevant, even if you're doing chartered accountancy. Please remember that all these courses, CS, CA, CMA, are finally called as certificate courses. They are not degrees. Nowadays, very recently, they have been given the weightage similar to a degree as far as pursuing PhD is concerned. So as a prerequisite to PhD, now they are recognizing chartered accountancy, but that wasn't the case earlier. The next is, so after intermediate, you have to do a practical training with a chartered accountant for 3 years, which is absolutely important. And again, something that if you plan in advance, you can actually apply to good companies. Last 6 months, you can do your industrial training, and the remaining can be done with a chartered accountancy firm. Try to join a firm where you get various areas of exposure like taxation, GST nowadays, profession tax, PF, ESIC. There are so many areas, so many compliances. Try to get into a firm which can offer all these exposures to you. And then finally, the final exam. I want to make it very clear here that chartered accountancy is a course which is very, very hard to clear in first attempt. So if your child is pursuing CA, CS, or CMA, make sure that you stand like a rock solid support behind them. I'm sure all parents do that anyway, but especially in this case, the mindset of parents is also important. I still remember my father taking me to Hotel Vaishali in Pune every time I failed. Every time, yes, I failed thrice in my CA exam. But every time I failed, he used to take me out to Hotel Vaishali just to celebrate my efforts. So this is the kind of support, rock solid support that one expects from a course like a CA. The same is true for CFA also. So your patience as a parent is absolutely important if you want to send your child in that area on that path. The next in the line is company secretary. This is also a professional course. The slight difference is that a CA focuses on taxation. Oh, I forgot to mention about that. I've written everywhere here, if you see the presentation, below the name of the course, I've written the key areas that one has to study in that. These are also the subjects. So direct tax, which is income tax, indirect tax, auditing, and strategic finance are the core subjects one studies here. In company secretary course, you will have to study economics, tax laws, financial and strategic management, and corporate funding as the focus areas. Again, the path is almost the same as CA, with a little change here and there. Like the training period will be different for both the courses. The company secretary course has a little lesser, shorter duration of training as compared to CA, but the rest is same. Both the courses have a few trainings after completion of final also. The next in the line is law. Law again is a very good course to take up, but I would recommend that it should be coupled with some other good, equally good, I would say, course. Only doing LLB restricts you to only working in the area of law. But if you couple it with something like CS plus LLB is a very, very good combination. You will see many company secretaries doing the law course later on, and that together is a very good, powerful, what you can say, powerful qualification. Because in LLB you study all sorts of laws, whereas in a company's secretary course you will focus mainly on Companies Act and related acts. But here you get to read labor law, you get to read Partnership Act, Negotiable Instruments Act, company law, and whatnot. So again, there are two ways to get into LLB. One is through after 12th, through an exam. So after that entrance, you will have to undergo a 5-year integrated course. By integrated, I mean that you will study a few subjects of BA or BCom or BSc also is available just as a course. Plus your law is possible, so that in that integrated course, you study subjects of law plus subjects of BCom and BA. Apart from it, you can also pursue LLB after your basic graduation, which can be any graduation. So you can again do a BBA, a BCA, BFT, or just BCom and get into LLB. Next is cost and management accountant. Again, as I said, this was previously called as CWA, cost and works accountant, but now they have changed the name to cost and management accountant, because the role of a cost manager has also changed substantially over time. Again, thanks to globalization, we are up for a big change in commerce field. So again, you will see the subjects here: cost management and control, taxes, profitability analysis, business strategy, and performance appraisal or for performance management is something that you see in this area. After 12th, again, the same route. You can either go take the route of foundation and intermediate final, or you can directly start after graduation where you skip foundation. You can directly get into intermediate. I see here a request, please CFA, but unfortunately I don't have enough time. As I said, we can connect personally, take an appointment, and then we can definitely talk about it. Then the next very interesting course is MBA. I call it interesting because even industry accepts it at almost at par, I'm saying, with any other professional course like CA, CS, or CMA. The reason is an MBA student also goes through almost the same subjects that these other professional courses offer. But the beauty of MBA is that it can be done in various specializations. Now, by now, you have understood that CA is mainly focused on taxation and auditing. CS is mainly focused on law. CMA is mainly focused on costing angle of any product or service. Deciding the selling price is the job of a CMA primarily. But in MBA, you can choose various specializations, like finance is definitely there. You can choose HR, you can choose operations, IT, sports management. Nowadays, MBA is possible in sports management also. I have taught 2-3 such batches where my students later on opened their own gyms, or they started their own nutrition bar or something similar. And there are again very good opportunities available today. Then the next area available is hotel management. Even CSR, corporate social responsibility, is another area which is possible and available under the umbrella of MBA. So you can do MBA with any of these as your specialization. In general, according to universities, the MBA would change. I mean, the course structure would change. Some colleges have it on a trimester basis. Some others have it on a semester basis. Accordingly, but generally the duration is going to be 2 years. There are a few rare executive courses, but they are available after post-graduation. So generally people who are already in the industry and want to get knowledge about management side take up those executive courses. So that is far from now for all of us. Again, here you will have to give a lot of entrance tests through CAT, XAT, SNAP, NMAT, Atma, CMAT, whatever. There are many entrance exams which involve a bit of mathematics, a bit of aptitude, a bit of English knowledge, and the exams are taken on the basis of all of these. After you clear the exam based on the merit list, you will be getting a particular college, admission into a particular college. It is absolutely essential that you succeed in MBA, so you come out with flying colors, then only that is my caveat, that if you want MBA to be treated at par with other professional courses, it has to be done in distinction. Then only it is possible that industry will accept you at par with other professionals. These are a few other courses which are possible, but for lack of time, I cannot really talk more about them. First being BCom, which I have already generally spoken. Then you have BBA, BCA, BFT. BCA is computer applications, and also nowadays it is available in the field of commerce. So there is a slight twist to it. That's why I've written it twice. Then next is BSL, that is your law exam, which can be coupled as an integrated course with BA or BCom. After graduation, you have your post graduations in the following areas. You can do graduation as well as post graduation in mass comm, TV, films, and other media. You can pursue your post graduation. You can pursue your post graduation in MCM, MPM, or Triple M. Triple M is marketing management. Then MCom, MPhil, and PhD is a course which can be taken, is a route which can be taken for someone who wants to get into teaching profession or wants to get into research. So for all those students, this route is available. Now, the more focus that I want to give is on these slides, because these slides are actually going to matter a lot. I have done a lot of research, some inputs from my experience, some discussions with my colleagues and friends who are professionals in their area and are experts today. A discussion with all of them has led to this list, which is going to be really useful to all of you, because the names of the courses and the course structure is going to be available on Google. So I don't want to really stress and spend time on that, but this is something that is really going to help you. So now, if you decide to take up commerce as a discipline, what are the aspects of your personality, or what are the skills that you develop as you are in your 11th and 12th? So this is a list of all those skills, I would say, that everyone must have. I see some disturbance. Yeah. Okay, so these are a few skills. Let's quickly go through them. Communication skills. It has been observed even at the post-graduation level that unfortunately students don't know how to communicate. They don't understand the difference between formal and informal communication. They can say just hi to even a CFO of an organization. They can just say, hey there. And I mean, that's okay with informal communication, but that's absolutely not fine when it comes to formal communication. Negotiation skills is again something that has been rated very high across the globe, because it is something that doesn't come naturally to people. It is something that needs a lot of training, and thus you should start developing it at this stage. So negotiation doesn't mean only ensuring that a particular product is purchased by you at a lesser price than, so that is bargaining. So bargaining and negotiation is not same. Negotiation has much more nuances to it. Unfortunately, again, for lack of time, I cannot go into all of them. Command over Microsoft Office again has been observed to be a very, very important and crucial area today. So especially I have jotted down, there are many aspects in Microsoft Office also, but out of them, these three are ones which are very crucial. First is Word, another is Excel, and third is your PowerPoint presentation. You should master these skills over 2 years. So as I said, 11th can be taken as a gap year, provided you grab at least 5 out of 10 skills listed here. A foreign language. Many of you must have studied some foreign language in school. So just go ahead and extend that knowledge and study in 11th and 12th also the same language so that you become a master. A particular computer language can be learned. Nowadays, R programming, SAS are a few areas where people are required, and you can definitely learn that. There are many institutes today which are offering such courses. So please try to learn something there. Using web space effectively. Now, what is this? We surf every day on Google. So why are you asking us to use the web space effectively? The reason is, for example, something very small. I would just give you a small example. Something, suppose I'm searching for something, and what I mean by using web space effectively. So if I'm searching something, say I'm searching for good colleges, CBSE colleges in Pune, then are we aware that CBSE plus colleges is, if I search that way, it ensures that I get every search with these two keywords in it. So if I just put CBSE colleges, I may or may not get all the colleges that I need. But if I say CBSE plus commerce plus colleges, I ensure that all these three words are there in every search that is listed on my Google search. So this is what I say when I say that you should learn to use the web space effectively, because that is going forward, that is also going to be a need of time. Business etiquettes, again, right from body language to how you sit, how you appear to others, how you dress up, how do you speak when it comes to public speaking, how do you speak when it comes to group discussions, are you a good listener, are you a selective talker, are all the aspects which are going to be very relevant and important when it comes to business etiquettes. Sharpening your analytical skills is again something that every student must try in these 2 years. Ask more questions, probe more into every aspect and see why this, anything. Say a Flipkart Walmart deal that took place few months back. Go and read about it on Google, understand why it would have happened, what could be the reasons. During this COVID situation, how can companies tie up such big time and with so much of investment into it? So dig more. Getting more questions or asking yourself more questions is the first step to getting an analytical mind or an analytical skills developed. Banking operations, another area where people are totally lost. Although we are digitizing everything today, but even today there are many businesses who issue checks. People don't know how to fill in a paying slip. People don't know how to take out money, cash from a bank. They only know that they can swipe a debit card and withdraw money, but they should also know how to go to a bank and do all the process. There, people don't understand the difference between a bearer check and a cross check. So these are small things that ideally should start at this stage in 11th and 12th, and that is definitely going to help them become a more aware, a more awakened, I would say, commerce student. And last but not the least, managing the accounting of your household expenses could be a very good trial to understanding accounting, to understanding business, to understanding how any organization, any entity functions. Again, here I have listed a few qualities which a commerce student possess. The previous slide mentioned about the skills, and this slide mentions about the qualities a commerce student should possess. They are logic, knowledge of accounting, analytical ability, knowledge of business as a structure, as an organization, business communication, focus, ability to see a problem from various sides. Having a bird's eye view to a particular problem will really help you in future. ability to interpret and conclude, something that we don't see today in freshers, even after post graduation. They cannot think about a particular problem and come to a conclusion. They only keep on asking more questions, and they cannot land into a particular valid conclusion. That is another problem we have seen with today's generation. My experience into companies and financial consulting there has definitely given me this input, that we should learn, we should teach our students to interpret and conclude any small problem. And last but not the least is curiosity. Ask more questions. प्रश्नच पडले नाही तर त्याची उत्तरं कशी मिळणार असं आपण नेहमी म्हणतो. तसंच आहे की क्युरिओसिटी इज ॲट द हार्ट ऑफ इन्व्हेन्शन इज व्हॉट आय फील. Okay, so now I'm coming almost to the end of this discussion, and I want to at this stage introduce a workshop that we are conducting through Srishti School of Learning. We are based out of Pune, which is called as Shadowing the Business World. It's a 5 days course, 1 hour 30 minutes every day. The methodology for this workshop will be case studies, role plays, and group discussion. So we are going to take up live cases, live business cases. The objective is to get a sneak peek into the exciting world of commerce, because now, as I said, most of the students who are passing out of 10th have not studied commerce. So before you get into the stream, before you get into this discipline, you must know at least a brief idea of how commerce looks like. So this workshop will be helpful to get a better idea of commerce as a field. Introduction to marketing, finance, HR as broad areas into commerce will be introduced in this workshop, and mode of delivery is going to be online. So if anyone is interested in this workshop, you can contact me. We already have a WhatsApp group, and you can contact me through that. We have some time, so we can take a few questions if they are. Thank you. Thank you for listening to my webinar. Yes, if there are any questions.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good
Are
evening.
you, ma'am? Yeah. My question is that if I'm my goal is to become a IS officer, yeah. So whether this commerce subject can give me that more marks in competitions?
Okay, so you will have to appear for those exams, the qualifying exams, yeah. UPSC and MPSC, yeah. Right? So in MPSC, those exams, in those exams, there are subjects. There are many subjects. I mean, which would be there for those exams. But economics, I would rate it as highest importance, subject of highest importance in such exams, because economics, when studied macro and micro, both angles of economics, you would get an idea as to how economy functions, how politics plays its role in any country, and how tax authorities or other government departments have their impact on economy. And that is going to definitely guide you forward as you become an IAS officer, or for that matter, even as you get into tax department or other revenue departments.
I mean, the commerce is scoring, ma'am. Scoring subject.
Commerce
compared to other
stream, but there are many subjects under that. So I would say primarily 3 subjects in commerce are economics, accounting, and mathematics to a large extent, because mathematics is a subject that develops logic and rational thinking into a child, into a student. And that's why if you pick up these 3 subjects, then for these competitive exams, definitely your approach and outlook will be definitely different and better.
Thank you,
ma'am. Which courses we need to do to work in IT Park?
In work in
IT Park.
IT Park.
IT Park.
I didn't understand the question. Can you say it again?
Hello.
Yeah.
Ma'am, like I am confused between what to do after 12, like BCom or BBA, because I asked some of my seniors that whether I should go for the BCom or I should go for the BBA. But I think that if you're doing the BCom, you get a very good scope. But BBA has a very narrow scope, and after BBA, you can only pursue the MBA. So, they are saying that your career may destroy or something like that. So I'm totally confused which course.
Okay. So it will really depend on what you want to do in your post graduation. As I said, that BCom is a relatively an easy path as compared to BBA. Yes, BBA, natural extension of BBA is MBA, but it's not essential that you can do only MBA after BBA. There are good opportunities available even after BBA, and then MBA will add to your opportunities for sure.
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, can you say something about, can you explain about FRM? I mean, financial risk management.
Yeah, okay. So that's a completely different area. Again, today, chartered accountants are getting into investment banking. FRM can be done as a separate course also, but the requirement there is having some work experience. So FRM or even a CFP for that matter requires some previous CFPs, financial planner or financial planning, a course which certifies you to plan your finances, portfolio management as we call it in finance. For these courses, there is a prerequisite of some kind of work 1 year or 2 years, depending on what kind of course you are picking up. So ideally, it is something that you should pick up as your post-graduation, but before that, you'll have to take up something as your graduation.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, I just, as I understood the last question, the first question that someone asked, or the second, is what should I learn, study if I want to get into IT industry, like the software and hardware companies, right? Was that the question? Someone asked about IT industry. So I would again say there, if you want to get into IT and with commerce, the best option is to pursue MBA and get into those companies, because you will not be able to get into IT companies as an engineer for sure with commerce knowledge. Then for that, you have to shift to science. But if you want to stay in commerce and go deeper, there is another option called BCA where you do computer applications. So it's a bachelor in computer applications, and then you can pursue MBA in systems or operations. And that would be a good combination for IT companies. Apart from that, if you want to get into the finance department of IT companies, then obviously all the professional courses are open, CA, CS, CMA, and all of them will have their own roles to play in IT companies. Like I myself am an advisor to 3 IT companies, and I look after the finance as well as the HR. So being a chartered accountant, these things become quite easy.
Ma'am,
Yes.
when I am preparing for CA, the subject is I will choose in BCom.
Which subjects you are saying in BCom? Can you
BCom generally a BCom economics, which is good.
Okay, so there are again many options nowadays available under the umbrella of BCom. So, like you have various baskets, as they call, of subjects. So again, I would stress that in BCom, the 3 important subjects would be economics, accounting, and costing. So specializing with any of these subjects is going to be really helpful.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
What are the career options in economics?
Sorry?
What are the career options in economics?
Career options in economics. Okay, so so ideally you can, if you want to pursue only economics, then after 12th standard in commerce, you can go to a university which is right now very famous for economics related subjects, which is called as Christ University. So you can just Google and get more information. They have wonderful courses for economics, business analytics, and even finance for that matter, where you can learn. Secondly, if you want to go into core economics, then actually you should get into BA, arts discipline, and complete your BA and then MA in economics if you want to have core economics as your specialization.
What basic qualification is required for London School of Economics?
For
Qualification.
London
School of Economics. What qualification do you accept?
So I think the very basic is 12th standard with excellent knowledge in economics, and then they would have their own procedures. They would have their own entrance tests. After passing which you can join the course there.
Can commerce graduate apply for it?
Commerce graduate, yes, can apply. Okay, I think we're done with the questions. If there are any more questions, you can ask them to me personally on WhatsApp. So I would like to thank all of you for attending this webinar and for your interest in the subject. Please contact us for more details and more information about anything that you want to know in commerce and for any further.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for sharing such a valuable knowledge to us. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.